Hey folks, Jim here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of White Dwarf magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys, and it goes a massive way to help the channel too. Now, this month we're on issue 476 of White Dwarf magazine. We do get some freebie pull-out bits, so we have some Warcry cards. So a couple of abilities and some new warriors for use in Warcry if you wish to, and two double-sided White Dwarf paint recipe cards if you wanted to use them as well. I just use a notebook, so yeah, I probably won't really use those. So off I go. Anyway, let's get started and jump into this issue. As per usual, I'm going to start off in one of my favourite sections of White Dwarf magazine, which is the contact section. This section is obviously where people send in their bits and pieces and letters and photos of their minis to the White Dwarf team. We have Raven Guard intercessors at the top of the page. We have some lovely XV12 green stealth battle suits, which look really nice, and we have some pretty cool ultramarine honor guard as well, which look pretty damn cool. And we have some slightly different looking good old Endry Master as well from good old Haradron Overlords, which is pretty cool. We have some other bits and pieces on this side. So we have an awesome Mortison Soul Reaper, which looks really cool on its nice sculpted base, which looks like it's been done purposely to be a display piece and nothing else. We have some pretty cool looking Necrons, which always look really good fun, and they do actually really pretty damn cool, so it's not too bad at all. And we have some Hedonites of Slaanesh on here as well, which is always quite nice to see. And we also have some lovely Deadwalker zombies, one of my favourite units. We have an awesome Grey Seer, which looks really cool, and I must admit, I really do love the Grey Seers from Skaven range, for one of the best models out there, in my personal opinion. And yeah, really nice. Definitely something I've enjoyed seeing in these pages, so really good stuff. Moving on to the 41st Millennium, we have a section about the Galactic War Hosts and the Imperial Zealots. So, Galactic War Hosts is a series of modelling and painting articles focused on the many factions and sub-factions of the 41st Millennium. So, you know, might as well grab yourself a devotional candle, write out your purity seal, and of course chain your weapons to your wrists, and get a bit zealous at the same time. But yeah, really cool stuff, and we get to see some lovely models. So we have a little bit of information about painting as well. So we have some good little bits for painting up Fire and Flame, and kind of getting that kind of burning braziers and how to paint those. Some very good tips. Personally, I would layer over a little bit of Ironbreaker in there as well, darken it up, and then go over with a dry brush to lighten it and make it look really cool. But you know, the fire technique is actually really well done and works absolutely wonders as well. So very kind of straightforward and easy to do, and also how to get some other effects as well for certain weapons and candles, for instance, and even creating white marble effects for large statues, which can work very well. So really good stuff on there. Then we get to see some lovely, very nicely painted minis as well. So we have some awesome Paragon war suits up here, which look fantastic, and I must admit the paint scheme is really cool, and is very similar to what I'll be doing for my Sisters of Battle, in all honesty. So really good stuff. We also get an awesome More Than Val as well, that's down here, with a few extra bits and pieces that have been added to the base to make it stand out a lot more. Awesome Sisters of Battle unit, good old Adeptus Sororitas, which is always really good to see. Then we get some Gene Stealers, and we also have some pretty cool looking Angels of Vengeance as well, just down here, some Space Marines, which always look good. We have an awesome tank, which looks like a lot of work has gone into it to make it the Fortress of Arrogance. We have some awesome good old Battle Sisters of the Order of the Final Word. So These have kind of like a skull helm, which look really, really nice and stand out to an enormous amount. All being in black, which makes them very, very unusual and highly unusual for a lot of minis as well, which look, yeah, just looks fantastic. It looks like a really, really good kit and a good way of painting it. And we have some awesome bits and pieces as well. So we have some awesome good old Paragons of Wrath, some good old Seraphim and Repent kits, which have been utilised to kind of make these awesome looking units, which look really good stuff. And you can't beat having a Titan every now and again, can you? They always look really good fun and absolutely huge. There's no way to deny it. Absolutely really, really cool stuff, and definitely ones that I really like. The painting skills of some of the people who get displayed in this magazine is actually fantastic, and really, really good stuff. And I must admit, you just can't knock it. They're so good. So it's always nice to see a lot of really, really good, highly skilled painters out there. Moving into the Age of Sigmar, we get a battle report pitting some cities of Sigmar against some vampire lords and good old the new Soulblight Grave Lords, including some of the Blood Knights, some Death Rattle skeletons, and much, much more. And yeah, it's really quite a fun read. It's a good read as well. Seeing the armies is absolutely fantastic. So we have a lot going on. So we have a vampire lord on a zombie dragon as the leader of this army. We have some Blood Knights, we have Death Rattle skeletons, we have some dire wolves, we have Prince Duval, we have a necromancer as well in there, and we also have some Deadwalker zombies for a lot of a good laugh, and some good old what's it called, the Dark Lancers for Black Knights, which look really, really cool. But yeah, really good stuff. It's nice to see, nice looking, highly detailed, well painted, and filled out, very uniformly done vampires. I must admit, Soulblight Gravelords are my preferred army in the Age of Sigmar. I have more Stormcast Eternals, but the Soulblights are my favourite, and I have a bit more of those going overall. But yeah, really, really good stuff, and I do love seeing the Soulblight Gravelords on the battlefield. They're going up against the Order of Mordor. So this is one of the Cities of Sigmar armies. So there is a Celestant Prime, which has been modified as well, with some more Banshees flying around it, and a staff instead of just having the hammers or anything like that in its hands. We have some Dwarden. We also have some elves, and we have a phoenix as well, just up in the corner. Very, very nicely painted, having that kind of very similar green and purpley, pinky purple colour scheme. Works very, very well, and it makes it stand out very much. We have seen the Order of Mordor displayed in the magazines before, in several issues in fact, during the kind of Tale of Four Warlords stuff that they've been publishing over the last few months. So it does, we have seen this kind of colour scheme before, but it's really nice. It's a really nice colour scheme, so it does work very, very well, and it's very, very enjoyable. The battle's fairly straightforward, and there is a lot going on in there, and I will not spoil the victory, so if you do pick up a copy, you can read through the whole battle report and enjoy yourself, and pick up some tips along the way, because there are a few little things that I did when I read it, but I thought actually I can incorporate them type of tactics, hopefully, into the battles that I do in the future. Sticking with the Age of Sigmar, we get the Flashpoint Clash, focusing mostly on Ghur, the realm of beasts. So Ghur, if you do not know, is essentially the new kind of main focal point for the Age of Sigmar. So the last main focal point was Shyish during the Soul Wars. Now going into Dominion, there is more of a focus on the realm of beasts, and there are some really interesting locations. So your main kind of high locations that you need to kind of remember are places like Excelsis, the city of Excelsis, and the home of the Knights Excelsior, the Storm Host. is really quite interesting, quite good fun to read and kind of see as well at the same time. And there are a lot of other little locations that are mentioned that feature quite heavily in certain other stories. Looks really good stuff, and yeah, it's quite nice to see a fairly more detailed map than you sometimes get in some other magazines. If you're going to be getting Stormbringer magazine, there will be a lot more focus on Gur as well, because that is going to be mainly focused with the Forces of Order going up against monstrous forces in the shape of the new Orc War Clans, the good old Crawl Boys, as well as other bits and pieces like Giants and good old Troggoths. So really good stuff to see, and it's quite nice as well, so pretty decent to look at. Going a little bit further, we get to see some other bits and pieces. So we've got a really nice painted Kragnos going up against Skarbrand, one of the Demon Princes of Khorne. Really cool stuff, and a nice Demon Prince as well, but it looks like it's really good stuff. And the main points of interest as well, so Excelsis, the City of Secrets, the Great Gut Fort as well was mentioned on here, the Clawing Sea, and the Twin Horn Peak. With Gur, a lot of Gur changes on a rapid basis and a regular basis, so when a landscape looks in one way, it can always change, which mentioned in a lot of the novels as well, including in the Dominion novel and in Mother of Nightmares, the Lauka book, which is actually really good and definitely worth a read as well. Finally, the inside the studio section of the magazine looks at obviously some of the bits and pieces that the guys from the White Dwarf team have been doing, including their Hobby Bingo catch-up, so you can kind of add to your Hobby Bingo if you've been keeping up with it. I must admit, I haven't actually been keeping up with mine, and I haven't marked off a lot of stuff that I've done. But we have a really cool looking Andrasta the Celestial Spear done in the paint scheme of the Celestial Warbringers, which actually stands out really nicely and makes the model look really good. And I must admit, it's a nice paint scheme, isn't it? Then there is also the fact that some of the guys went off and did a 40k based escape room, which is actually looks really cool. So some of them did it in a group did it in 27 minutes 41 seconds, and then a second group did it in 43 minutes. So a nice bit of friendly competition from the looks of it in there, but they all escaped, which is the main thing. And then lastly, the Hobby Bingo spotlight goes to some good old Death Rattle Skeletons and some Fellbats, which look really nice. They have a nice uniform paint scheme, with it being kind of that colder looking paint scheme as well, with it being mainly blacks, greys and blues, and with also a bit of Valhalla snow across the base, which actually does make vampires look really cool in my opinion. Other than that though, the next issue will be on sale the 17th of June. I will do a video for it, and yeah, I hope to see you there. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye now.